All right, we're now going to review the power of a product property. With the power of a product property, you find the power of each factor and multiply. So let's look at the first two examples that have been done for us and then try 3 examples on our own. All right, so if you look at the first example, we have a 6 times 3 inside the parentheses and an exponent of 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure, I think of it like distributive property, but basically we're making sure that everything inside the parentheses gets that factor. So the 6 gets raised to the 4th power. The 3 is also raised to the 4th power. So when I simplify that, well, I should say when I evaluate that, because right now we could leave it like that if we're leaving it as a power. I'm going to go ahead with my calculator and figure out what is 6 to the 4th power. And it is 1,296. And I'm going to figure out what is 3 to the 4th power. 3 to the 4th power is 81. So now I'm going to multiply 1,296 times 81. And I get 104,976. All right, let's look at an example with variables now. So again, with the power of a product property, everything inside the parentheses gets that exponent, which in this case is a 2. So I'm going to raise the g to the 2nd power, and I'm also going to raise the b to the 2nd power. Since those are variables and we don't know the values of those variables, that is all we can do. So we can leave it just like that. Or if you don't want to have the dot between the two variables, because you really don't have to have that, you could just write it as g squared b squared, which is multiplication. Now you have 3 examples I'd like you to try on your own if you would like, and then fast forward to the end of the video to check and see how you did. Or if you feel like, gosh, you need more practice and instruction, stay with me and do these 3 examples with me as I go through them in the video. All right, so looking at the first one, there is an exponent of 2 on the outside of the parentheses. So I'm going to distribute or give that factor to everything inside the parentheses. So I'm going to raise the 5 to the 2nd power. I'm going to raise the v to the 2nd power. And I'm also going to raise the 3 to the 2nd power. Now I'm going to go ahead and simplify or evaluate. I know that 5 to the 2nd power is 25. V to the 2nd power, I'm just going to leave it as v to the 2nd power. And 3 to the 2nd power is 9. There's one more step that I can do to simplify this. That is, I can multiply 25 times 9. And 25 times 9 is 225. So my final simplified answer would be 225 times v squared. I'll just leave that right there. All right, let's do the next one. Again, I'm going to use the power of a product property, which means everything inside the parentheses is going to get raised to the 3rd power. So 4 to the 3rd power, h to the 3rd power, and s to the 3rd power. And I should have said that everything there is getting multiplied because there is no symbol. 4 to the 3rd power is 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64. H to the 3rd power and s to the 3rd power. There's nothing else I can do to that. So my final answer is 64 times h to the 3rd power times s to the 3rd power. And that is as simplified as it can get. All right, this last one, there are only 2 things inside the parentheses. There's a 2, which I'm going to raise to the 5th power. And there is also a k that I'm also going to raise to the 5th power because I'm making sure that that exponent is given to each factor inside the parentheses. So now let's look at our answer and see if there's anything else we can do. There is. We can go ahead and simplify 2 to the 5th power. And 2 to the 5th power is 32. So my final answer would be 32 times k to the 5th power. So hopefully you're feeling a little more confident about power of a product. Just going to go back through the answers quickly in case you tried them on your own and you're now checking it. So the first one was 225 times v squared. The second one is 64 times h to the third times s to the third. And then the last one was 32 times k to the 5th power.